So for a while now, I've been watching this anime, and it is a very loved and adored series by many. While watching it one day, I thought to myself, is this actually a good series? Does it deserve the praise it receives? Is it really as good as people say it is? Does My Hero Academia actually suck? Before we explore this theory and I plead my case, I suppose I should go over the basic plot of Boku no Hero Academia for those who have not seen the show. The world of My Hero Academia takes place in a world parallel to our own, where superpowers known as quirks begin manifesting in about 80% of the world's population. People having strange powers, no matter how weird, lame, or insanely powerful, becomes the norm. This led to the need for superheroes to rise up to defeat those who decided to use their quirks for evil. Which brings us to our main character, the protagonist of our story, Izuku Midoriya, a boy born without a quirk. All he ever wanted from life was to be a hero, to save people like his idol, the greatest hero of all time, All Might! One day while he was in middle school, he actually gets to meet All Might, who informs him that he can't be a superhero without a quirk, because he would get himself killed. This shook Midoriya to his core for a bit, until he saw a childhood friend? Enemy? Frenemy? I don't know, you guys. Bakugo's kind of just an asshole. Why does Midoriya consider him a friend? Never mind, not the point. He saw a classmate, Bakugo, being attacked by a sludge monster. Midoriya, without thinking, ran into action, doing what he could to save his friend. All Might happened to witness Midoriya's actions, and this rekindled within him what it means to be a hero. All Might stepped up, defeated the villain, and later ran into young Midoriya once more to let him know that he too could be a hero. All Might's quirk is actually one that is passed down, growing in strength as it's passed along, and he chooses Midoriya to be his predecessor. So Midoriya eats his hair and finally receives a quirk. Some training happens, a school exam happens, and he was accepted into UA, where he can train and learn to be a true hero, plus ultra! Whatever that means. That's the basic plot of My Hero Academia. To make it even more basic, it's your classic underdog story of defying all odds and overcoming every obstacle. This is an overplayed trope in many anime, and it creates many, well, Mary Sues or Gary Stews. Is that terminology too old? How about Kirito's? Kirito is a perfect character that could do nothing wrong and won everything, always. Every important character loved him, and his was an underdog story of overcoming the odds. His story will actually make for a good tool to analyze My Hero Academia's use of that trope. We'll be able to determine if it does it well. So theory 1, My Hero Academia's use of a common trope is what makes it suck. Let's analyze this. Izuku Midoriya is definitely an underdog. He has no powers, is in the 20% of the population with no abilities, and the only thing that he has on his side is his wits. He analyzes heroes to learn how quirks work, and uses his knowledge at first to just learn more about heroes, and eventually uses it to strategize. This is Midoriya's starting ability at the beginning of the anime, his mind and a notebook. This goes against most of the underdog stories in anime, honestly. In most shows, the main hero has a hidden ability, a secret move, a trump card to play to overcome things right away. For example, Kirito had been a beta tester for the game, and he was now trapped in it. He had knowledge others did not, and used it to level up through the ranks quickly. He became powerful, fast. This sort of thing happens in many anime. My Hero Academia also gave Midoriya powers very quickly, but he went 14 years with no power. He also didn't get it right away. Story-wise, he had to train for 10 months, build up his own strength before being able to even use 5% of his quirk, and even then, the power could cripple him. This happens in the span of like 5 episodes, so this is a change of pace from the normal trope. Midoriya is constantly having to grow as a character and actually earn the right to overcome his obstacles, which is a refreshing use of this trope. But, to continue to build upon this theory based on a trope, the fact that this anime decided to abandon all of the superhero tropes that the series is based around to replace them with a ton of generic anime tropes is disappointing. Midoriya was quirkless. He could have trained in fighting, trained his mind, become a hero on his own, like many heroes in superhero media. For example, the Green Arrow, Batman, Iron Man, Black Widow, and the most useless Avenger, Hawkeye. These are all normal people, fighting alongside powerful beings. Some of these beings are even considered to be God. Midoriya, after training his body and mind, could have worked his way up to be the first quirkless hero. The only thing he's missing is an infinite amount of money to spend on gear and a suit that would prevent death. He has the determination, the drive to do it. He has the mind to be able to learn and adapt. It would have been a much different story, but would have made a more compelling one. You have to admit, handing him the Konami Code of Quirks makes it a little less of a compelling story. Personally, I would have liked to see him try a little longer as Deku, the Quirkless Wonder. Hell, if they had just used the superhero trope of accessing the 90% of the brain we don't use, that would have been more compelling. Instead, he's given a power, and goes to generic anime school with generic pervy boys and generic classes, but not so generic sports festival, and technically not so generic characters, but I do suppose those tropes don't make it bad. The tropes are actually written quite well. Gym class is quirk training. The sports festival is a giant tournament arc. They do stereotypical school anime things, but with a superpowered twist. In fact, maybe it's the use of these tropes and how it uses them is what makes the show good. That's a theory in itself. Moving on to my next theory about what makes this show suck is some of the characters. Most of the characters are interesting, be it because of their quirk, their design, or personality. Some of the characters, though, are horrible. Some of the characters I bet you wouldn't even be able to name right away. Some of these characters just... let's just get on with this. Mineta sucks. He's a horrible character with too much screen time. His quirk is practically useless. His only character qualities are diaper baby and pervert. The show would be so much better without him, and every moment he's on the screen, it is a moment of irritation. He literally serves no purpose other than to throw around his sticky balls, cry, and perv on the girls of 1A. I hope he gets written out or explodes by King Murder Death Explosion or something. Just get him off my screen. Get him out of my face. I'm done with him. But speaking of King Murder Death Explosion, he's another character that I feel is no good. That's right, the precious Cinnamon Roll is not a good character. His character depth is an edgy, angry Kirito. That's right, I said it. Bakugo Katsuki's only personality trait is Angry Teen. He excels at everything he does with no effort, and has only ever failed once, and that was against the world's greatest hero, All Might. The only time he had ever had character growth was in that battle against All Might 2. He realized how much of a dick he is, how it's not a good thing, calmed down a little bit, but remained an angry asshole. He's constantly telling people to kill themselves. He is constantly threatening to literally murder people, and if things don't go his way, he throws a literal explosive temper tantrum. How on earth is that a good character? How do so many people like him? If he were a real person, you would hate him, and you know it. I'm glad he's fictional. The only person close to him in real life is Trump. That's right. Bakugo is Donny Boy, angry, often orange, insulting people, and ready to explode. I didn't mean to make this political, but honestly, I could not help myself. Don't get me wrong, though. Pretty much the entire cast, including the supporting cast, are interesting. We get to learn a little about their quirks and how that manifests in them. Even characters that only make a short appearance normally make a pretty significant impact. Take Hitoshi Shinzo, the boy with the brainwashing quirk. The only episode he was in was during the tournament arc. Mainly we saw him being carried around through the competition by people that seemed to be pretty mindless and mainly nameless. We didn't really get to learn too much about him until his fight with Midoriya. He revealed he wants to be a hero, despite having a quirk suited for a villain. He wants to overcome all odds, and has the same determination as Midoriya. And as he told Deku,
"You can't help the things your heart longs for."
And that resonates with our main character. It also resonates with the audience. It's inspiring, honestly. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. You can overcome any obstacle. This sentiment is spread throughout the entire series, and is a big part of what makes this show what it is. So I guess the show doesn't suck. It has aspects, parts of it that kind of suck. All the tropes and how some of the characters are written are honestly the biggest parts of the things that are bad about the series. Overall, though, the art style is great, the fight scenes are incredible, and the show resonates with the viewer. For example, the moment Hero Killer Stain intimidated the heroes. The way it was portrayed, animated, and how the heroes froze in fear. I personally felt myself freeze, eyes wide and thinking, holy shit. It's intense. Another example is the moment All Might went beyond in the fight against Nomu and punched him literally into space. It left me feeling excited, awestruck even. It was incredible. So with the few things wrong with it, overall it's honestly a great show. And thinking about it, the manga's probably better. Anyway, this has been Katie Cat. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night wherever you might be. Subscribe maybe.